In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some realities that I've faced since I moved to Sweden. And top on that list is the cold. The cold here is wonderful. Now, for somebody coming from a tropical environment, back home in Nigeria, the weather was always hot. Even when it is cold, it's nothing compared to what obtains here. So it's just the cold is. I'm struggling to adjust to the weather here. Even when I go into public buildings where they have heaters running, I still have my jacket on. Like, I can't afford to pull my jacket. I can't just hang it anywhere. I still have to wear it. Even with the heater on, I'm still cold. I remember when I landed, the first day I landed in Sweden, as I was coming out of the airport, I was talking with my husband and I could see my breath as I was speaking. I was so amazed. It was a shock to me. The cold, like the blast of cold as I came out of the airport. It almost sent me back into the airport. It was just too cold. I remember even close to 2-3 months after I moved to Sweden, I was always wearing my jacket even inside the house. I will have a cap on, then also have my jacket on. Inside the house, I was always wearing my socks because of how cold it is. Even though we had heaters inside the house, it was not warm enough for me. I still had to have my jacket, my cap, my socks on. Because even when back home in Nigeria, even when it rained there, and we will say, oh, it's cold, it's raining, it's cold. After moving here, I discovered that what we experienced there as cold is nothing compared to the cold here. So it's really, really, really cold here. It's one of the things I'm struggling with, but as the day goes by, I'm trying to adjust, and so far so good. Another thing that I'm facing here is the loneliness. It gets really lonely here sometimes, and most times it gets really lonely. But where I'm coming from, I will always compare to Nigeria because that's where I grew up. Everybody is in your business. There's no such thing as being left alone. Everybody is like, hey, my neighbor. Somebody's either knocking your window or knocking your door, and somebody's always checking, hey, hi. You're going on the street, whether you know the person or not. You're just saying hello, saying hi to somebody somewhere is just calling your name, saying hello. Well, like here, I see that people mind their own business, everybody to themselves. I don't know who my neighbors are. I've been here now for 5 months. I barely see them. In fact, I see that some people go out of their way, not to say hello, and that's okay. One of the days I went to the washroom to go wash some clothes in the laundry, and I met a woman. She spoke to me, and it was a shock to me because I've seen that people would rather, whatever issue they were facing, they would rather face that issue than ask for help or reach out. So when she came to me and told me to help her with something, I was shocked. But I hesitated because I didn't know what she was up to. But she turned out to be a very great person. We chatted all the while we were both in that laundry room. We were chatting, we were talking, and it was just fun. And I felt, I know it was close to what I was already used to back home, and I just wish that more people would be that open. So if you are somebody that thrives on community, Sweden might not be the place for you because, like I said before in one of my videos, it's a very individualistic environment. It's a very individualistic country. People just tend to go their own way, mind their own business, do their own thing. I think most Africans are just very communal. We love to interact with one another. It doesn't matter whether I've met you before, I've seen you before. We are in a bus, we are talking, we are conversing. We're going on the same route, we are conversing, we are talking. But here, it's not exactly the same. If you do not enjoy your own company, then it gets a bit hard. And this takes me to the next thing, which is building a social network. This is really hard here because, like I said, earlier, people mind their own business here. So except there is something that brings you and the person together, maybe you and your neighbor, or you and a group of people, maybe you're in the same church or in the same class, or maybe at the same workplace, then you can have it easy. But if there is nothing that brings you and people together, you are going to be on your own. So building a social network here is really hard. It's challenging. Even my daughter, who is just a kid, will tell me when she comes out from school how she didn't have friends today, how nobody talked with her, how she was just on her own, how, and I'll just keep telling her to, you know, to give it time, relax, you're still new here. So if a child can be facing that kind of challenge now, how much more an adult? You would agree with me that, you know, bonding as an adult is more difficult than doing so as a child. And another thing that I'm struggling with is that I miss Nigerian meals. Like, I really miss food from home. I miss Nigerian ingredients. I don't I really miss it. Of course, we have African stores around. At least here where I stay, I think I have about 2 different ones. They are far apart, but the thing is, they are not well stocked. Unlike, excuse me, but the truth is they are not well stocked. Unlike what I see in the UK, you know, when my friends, you know, in the UK post their African stores and things they buy from the African stores, it's just like they never left Nigeria. But here in Sweden, the products that you get in the African stores are very limited. They are nothing close to what, you know, we have back home, and they are also very expensive. So if you are still new here, probably don't have a job yet, or you are living on limited income, it will be hard for you to afford the African store. So I really miss food from home. I've not eaten Nigerian food like you know like real, like I've not eaten, you know, real Nigerian food since I got here. And of course I'm adapting. That is what humans do, we adapt. So, but that's one thing I miss. I wish I could, you know, someone can just help me get things from back home and send them to me. I would be so grateful. And then finally, another thing that I want to talk about is that when you relocate, it takes a while to find your feet. Like, you have to be really patient with yourself. I'm learning that patience every day. You have to be really patient with yourself. Like, things will fall into place. I know that things will fall into place, but you know, as humans, we tend to be in a hurry. Like, oh, this is where I want to be in the next 6 months, the next, you know, 2-3 years. But when you are, you know, when you relocate, you move from one country to another, you live your life. Like, you are basically uprooting your life, you know, and planting it somewhere else. And when you plant something, it's gonna take a while to germinate and start bringing forth, you know, forth fruits. So that is something that happens when you relocate. So you are planting yourself newly somewhere else. So give yourself time to grow. So that's all I have for you today. I'll see you in my next one. Until then, bye.